Mmm, yummy. Isn't that some yummy energy that you came in with? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Take a deep breath. I took a deep breath. He always wants to be here. He always wants to be here with this energy. I think he knows Ra's energy. Are you ready? Are you ready to dive into you? Into you. It's not just out there, but it's in you. The unknown, it flows there. It's a flow. It's a flow state. It's only unknown because our higher beings are recalling. And if you if you aren't sitting in that comfortable place at the seat of your soul, you're not tuning in with the ears that hear more than just the form. But the divine wants you to know that it's okay for you to flow into that space of the knowing. That's what the spiritual ears are. It's a knowing. You already know it. You were born with it. We're just we're just opening you up to it. We're giving you the space to dive into you. We're holding the space. We're the vessels that Ra and the divine are opening up to you. We can't do it for you. Oh no, and I wouldn't want to do it for you. You can't walk in my shoes. I've walked in my shoes, and my shoes are still on my feet. You can't walk in them. But we can give you the wisdom and the information and the unconditional love and the grace to open up your unconditional love and your grace and your knowing for you. That's what we're here to do today. So take a seat at your soul, open up, and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Are you ready, Marcus? Back to you. Or to you.
Ukatiana, Uchu, Untu Unania, Tiana, Uku, Ushi, Ianasa, U Ayamayatu, Dia, Yasayano tu, Ukutu Ayashi, Ianatu, Yasutu Yayakiata, Yamatu, Ishiata, Utia Malatiata. Yeah, I believe I'm ready. I believe I'm ready for this voyage on episode 26 of Ascending Beyond Limitations. As we flow and study the Raw Material Law of One, book number 2 of 5. Thank you to all of you that have continued to tap in, support, be a part of these beautiful sacred spaces on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you to all of you, the subscribers, the likes, the shares, and feel free, if you may, give a share. Give a share of this live right now to a family member, a friend, community that you believe could value and have a good spark in their day with this sacred space that we're holding right now. Thank you to you guys. And it's a beautiful journey. Really glad to be here. And I look forward to what this episode has for us. Back to you.
Back to me. We're at episode 26. Who knew? Well, the divine knew that we would be now on book 2, expanding our knowledge of our unknown, finding out that our opt-out button has always been our free will. Not only just to opt out, but it's the exact same button to create. I was reading yesterday. I can't remember what I was reading. I was reading a little excerpt from the 12 Laws of Karma. And it was saying that the object of the universe is to grow and expand itself. Once it started the creative process, it will not stop. Once the divine started to create and seek itself in all its parts, it can do nothing else but keep growing and expanding. That its desire is motion. Motion. It propels itself out further and further into what we might call the universe, and the universe keeps creating itself. Then I read something on I was on Google, and I was reading something a scientist was saying, that he now believes that the gift of movement is that once we take it in, the movement of pushing it forward creates. Think about that. Think about it. Just really think about it. You do it every day without thinking about it. But now I'm going to ask you to think about it. The movement of taking a breath in and then release. You're taking a breath in, and the trees are supplying you what you need to release for them. It's symbiotic. You do it when you're asleep. You don't tell your body to breathe while you're asleep. You just do it. It's perpetual motion. It's always in flow. Always in flow. Next, think about your heartbeat. Your heart is always beating. It might beat a little extra fast or a little extra slow, but it's always an opening and a closing. It's always motion. Always motion. So the divine wants me to start today with 4 paragraphs from the divine design. Okay. In chapter 1.2, what is the evolution in consciousness? Evolution is the process. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is just a channeling of a book. And there are infinite possibilities to your learning and your wisdom, your understanding, and your belief that becomes your truth. Take what resonates. Evolution is the process of energy moving from a lower frequency and dimensional field to the next highest frequency. The dimensional or the next highest frequency and dimensional field. The earth and all higher dimensional consciousnesses. So the earth is a consciousness, the moon is a consciousness, the sun is a consciousness, and guess what? We are consciousnesses. Okay? So it said, the earth and all higher dimensional consciousnesses incarnated on the earth plane. That's earth consciousness's body, just like I have a body, Sandee's body. To experience an evolution through physical form. It already knew what it was in formless. It wanted to experience all of its formless in physical form. Ooh. The experience of evolution is similar to driving a car. They give you an example. The earth and the human are higher dimensional consciousnesses. Woo! You know what you are. I know what I am. Are you saying hallelujah right now? Are you saying ashe? Are you saying let it be so? Our higher dimensional consciousnesses are pushing on the gas pedal, but it is the car, the human body, and the planetary body that is speeding up and taking the human and the earth on or for a ride. The physical form takes earth and the higher dimensional consciousnesses on a ride into the next highest dimensional field. Earth and the higher dimensional consciousnesses will be experiencing, are you ready? Fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensional fields without being anchored in the dimensional field. They remain as their higher dimensional consciousnesses within the human form, yet they can experience lower dimensional fields through the physical form. I'm taking a pause there. When I took that in, I could feel the shifting in every fiber of my body. They remain as their higher dimensional consciousnesses within the human form, yet they can experience lower dimensional fields through the physical form. Evolution is experienced through steps. It occurs genetically or energetically. I'm sorry. Divine wants me to say genetically too. Okay. Divine knows what it's doing. Energetically, genetically, and cannot be manipulated. It is the natural process of energy increasing in form. It begins and ends the same way for Earth and all higher dimensional consciousnesses in physical form. There are 4 steps. The 4 steps are assimilation, acclimation, tapping, and anchoring. And we will be reading more of this as we start the book of Ra. But the divine wants you to understand where you come from and why you're here. It's very, very simple. We came here to shift and to expand and to evolve. Formless came into our form body, and that's what we get to do. And they threw in the gift of free will so that we could make choices, taste the soup and see what seasoning we wanted to add. That's what Ra is talking about. That's why Ra, when Ra speaks, will not usurp our free will. That's why Ra will ask the channeler to re-ask the question, as to not usurp any reader's free will as this book is being read to you, for you, and through the divine. So here we are, we're at page 68. Ra says, I am Ra. I greet you in love and in light of the one infinite creator. We communicate now. And the questioner begins. You said that each third density entity has a higher self in the 6th density, which is moving to the mind, body, spirit complex of the entity as needed. Does the higher self also evolve in growth through the densities, beginning with the 1st density? And does each higher self have a corresponding higher self advanced in the density beyond it? Well, you've all heard people talking about we have our other selves in other realms, density realms, our other selves. experiencing. And as we move through and see them interacting, we get to learn from them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Can it be just that simple? Or do we as spiritual beings have to make it so difficult because we believe every what we got, somebody else, how we went through what we got through, somebody else needs to go through that as well. Otherwise, they don't got it. But simply, there are not just my other self being Marcus in this podcast, but I have other selves, other versions of me, other vibrations of me that are going to teach me, that are going to grow me, as well as my other selves coming into this dimension here, and I'm teaching them and growing them as we merge back with the divine. Because eventually, come on, we will merge back with the divine. It doesn't have to be what others call death. We don't have to always have a physical death. We can merge back with the divine every time we shift and grow and expand and evolve. So Ra says, I am Ra. To simplify this concept in our intent, the higher self is a manifestation given to the late sixth density mind, body, spirit complex as a gift from its future selfness. The mid seventh density last action before turning towards the allness of the creator and gaining, I need to, the divine is telling me to slow my roll. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I can feel myself vibrating. Okay. And as I'm reading, forgive me, I cannot look up and look at you and read at the same time. So if you're having questions, I don't see the questions yet, but that's Marcus is going to monitor that, right? So if you have a question, let's keep it going. Okay. So Ra says to simplify this concept is our intent. The higher self is a manifestation given to the late sixth density, body, mind, spirit complex as a gift from its future selfness. The mid seventh density last action before turning towards the allness of the creator and gaining spiritual mass is to give the resource to the sixth density self, moving as you measure time in the stream of time. Remember, third density, time was given to us to measure. There is no such thing as time to the divine, to the allness of the creator. But it is given to us in third density so that we can create, so that we can move, so that we can flow. Isn't that? Now you understand time, right? The past, the present, and even the future, the perceived future of our ego is given to us so that we can grow, so that we can shift, so that we can gain wisdom and understanding, so that we can live life, because life wants to multiply itself. And I'm not talking about men, women having babies. I'm talking about energy multiplying itself, energy seeking out itself, blending with itself and creating more of itself, and then evolving. Right? So he goes on to say, the self, the mind, body, spirit complex of the late sixth density has then the honor/duty of using both the experiences of its total living bank of memory of experience, thoughts, and actions, and using the resource of the mind, body, spirit complex totally left behind as a type of infinite complex thought form. So thoughts are consciousness. They're floating around there. They don't become your form until you pull it out and say, oh, let me try this one on for size. Like you go into a Macy's, you grab 6 items, you walk into the fitting room, and you try them on to see what they look like on you, how they feel on you, how they flow with you. And you start moving your arms and bending your waist and shaking your butt and stretching your leg to see if it fits. Thoughts are consciousnesses. They came to be the whole makeup of the divine creator, the all that is and the all that isn't. Put a request out to all consciousness everywhere that are expressions of itself. It's seeking itself to come and say, what do you want to be? Some consciousness said, hey, I don't want to do a human incarnation, but I'll be the thought process. Some consciousness said, I'll go ahead and I'll be the process. I'll be the form process of the situation and circumstance as it flows. Wow. Back to you, Marcus. Whoa.
Actually, I have to go do something. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. I'll keep reading then. All right. So let's keep reading. All right. So Ross says, in this way, you may see yourself, your higher self, or oversoul, and your mind, body, spirit complex totally as 3 points in a circle. That's what I call triune. And the circle is connecting. 3 points in a circle, man. Ever expanding. Take what resonates. You can't do me, but you can do you. The only distinct is that your time-space continuum. That's the only distinction. You're authentic. You have your own time-space continuum that you create from. So you're the point. You're the point of attraction. You're the point of intention. I'm the point right here, and everything goes out around me as I'm creating, as I'm expanding, as I'm shifting, as I'm evolving, as I'm learning. And then it comes right back to me. I'm the point of attraction, of intention, of energy that wants to serve. Right? And then Ross says, all are the same being. We are all the same consciousness of the divine, of the one true creator. We're just different expressions of the divine. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's okay to still believe in Adam and Eve and the creation, because the divine says, let that be so. That's an infinite way it sees itself. So the questioner then says, does each entity have an individual mind, body, spirit, complex, totality, or do a number of entities share the same mind, body, and spirit complex totality? Ooh, that's a great question. Okay. I am raw. Both of these statements are correct given the appropriate time-space continuum or conditions. Each entity has its totality, and at the point at which a planetary entity becomes a social memory complex, that's what raw is, a social memory complex, because the whole planet merged into consciousness. It took the evolutionary leap, and that is they are raw. They are the social memory complex. We are mind body memory, right? Or spirit, mind body spirit complexes. We aren't a social memory complex, not yet, right? It says, of this union of entities also has its oversoul, and it has its social memory complex totality as resource. So it can always, as they've merged as wholeness, they can all they all have their interjection of what they remember. So they're all remembering each other as one. Right? Ooh, that must be a great tasting soup. All right. Ross says, as always, the sum, take the comma, spiritually speaking, take the comma, is greater than the sum of its parts, so that the oversoul of a social memory complex is not the sum of the oversouls of its members' entities, but operates upon the way of what we call squares and what we grasp you prefer as calling doubling. So it sees itself and then it multiplies itself. Life is requiring itself to multiply, to grow and expand. Right? So the questioner then asks, thank you. And thank you for the explanation of the mathematics too. Could you define spiritual mass? Ra says, I am Ra. This will be the last full question of this session. Spiritual mass is that which begins to attract the out-moving and ongoing vibrational oscillation of beingness into the gravity. Speaking in spiritual sense, well, of the great central sun core or creator of the infinite universes, right? Everything that goes out has to come back. In breathing, you breathe it in and you breathe it and you release it. You breathe it out. Everything expands and releases. Everything grows and expands. Everything pushes and pulls. The pendulum swings out and it comes back. I'm just giving you a moment to take it in. Life is seeking itself, and it's going to seek itself while maybe you're not conscious of it. Maybe you're just flowing willy-nilly and blaming life for everything that it does to you, but life isn't doing anything to you. It's doing it actually because of you. You're just not aware of it yet. And that's okay. Like my mama used to say, you get what you get. If you don't think about what you're putting out or what you're asking, sometimes you have to think about what you ask for. Be conscious of, don't be so busy to ask for something if you don't know it's going to work for you. She used to always tell me, I had a best friend, and my best friend would get certain things. Then I'd tell my mom, well, I want that too. And she would say, why do you want it? Because, and I was a kid. I'd just be very honest because my friend Mary has it and she looks like she's having fun. And she would say, well, did you ask Mary to let you try it to see if you like doing that? And I went, no, it just looks fun. And she says, I tell you what, she was teaching me discernment, but hey, that word never came up. It wasn't a label. She just said, go ask Mary to teach teach you. I think one of them was a hula hoop. And I found out I really didn't like hula hoops. I didn't like thinking. I like things that free float. And I found out for me, I had to think really hard to keep that hula hoop up on me. Whereas for her, it was fun. She said she liked how it just spun. And she liked how she could make it do that. So what worked for her wasn't my fun. But I wouldn't have tried that if my mother didn't say, take a moment, right? So let's keep going. Session 38, page 69. Ra says, I am Ra. I greet you in love and in light of the one infinite creator. We communicate now. The questioner says, backtracking just a little bit from yesterday, I would like to know if the reason nuclear energy was brought into this density 40 or so years ago had anything to do with giving the entity who were here, who had caused the destruction of Maldak, another chance to use nuclear energy peacefully rather than destructively. Now, in book 1, we talked about Maldak and their intent with the nuclear energy, that planet's intent. They used it for destructive purposes. Ra says, I am Ra. This is incorrect in that it places cart before horse, as you people probably say. The desire for this type of information attracted this data to your people. It was not given for a reason outside. It was not given for a reason from outside influences. So he's pretty much saying, yeah, you guys created that shit. You're the creators. You picked up on a thought, human beings, and you ran with it. Rather, it was desired by your peoples. From this point forward, all right, what's Rago say now? From this point forward, your reasoning is correct in that entities had desire the second chance, which you mentioned. Remember, in book 1, a lot of the higher beings from Maldak took form in a human incarnation, right? So those higher beings must have wanted to try it again to get it right. Souls go back to the super consciousness, discuss what they did, what went wrong, how they could go back and try it again, if they even wanted to try it again, right? So Ra is confirming, hey, this isn't something we gave you. The energy is there, and you took it and you chose to create it again, to try it again. But we certainly didn't give it to you to test you on anything. Stop absolving yourself from being a creator. Okay? So the questioner says, what was the mechanism for fulfilling the desire for the information regarding nuclear energy? Ra says, I am Ra. As we understand your query, the mechanism was what you may call inspiration. Ooh. Ra told it like it was. You inspired yourself to create the nuclear energy. What? And here's the question: ask yourself, what's your embodiment for your creation? Embodiment is, why are you doing it? What do you expect of it? How does it feel? How will it feel to you? How will it serve you and others? That's embodiment. The questioner says, would this inspiration be an entity expressing the person desiring the information with thoughts? Would this be the mechanism of inspiration? I'm wrong. The mechanism of inspiration involves an extraordinary faculty of desire or will to know or to receive a certain area accompanied by ability to open to and trust in what you may call intuition. Here's the thing. Creation is intention plus energy is manifestation or creation. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. We were all given intention. Yes, we were given the third eye, or the first eye, I call it. Right? So at this point, the divine wants me to go back to the four steps of conscious evolution. Remember those 4 steps we were talking about? First step was assimilation, ACCLIMATION. The first step in evolution is assimilation. The physical form consciously or continuously receives high frequency light from the sun consciousness. As the light enters the form, it begins to assimilate. It assimilates it. Assimilation occurs when the physical form slows down and the high frequency light to slows down the high frequency light to receive it into the body. Because you're coming from a higher density, now you're acclimating into a lower density, right? If the frequency of the light is too high, the body won't be able to access the light and use it to shift into higher frequencies. The light will dissolve from the body. If the body assimilates, it will settle into the physical body. So first, acclimation. Energy being given to the body. Assimilation, the body taking it in and receiving it. That's the second one. ASSIMILATION. Once the physical form acclimates to light, the body begins to assimilate it, to take it in. Assimilation occurs when the physical form integrates the higher frequency light into the lower frequency light within the body. The higher frequency light then either pushes the density or lowers frequency light out of the body, or merges the density into merges the denser light into the higher frequency light. Either way, the physical form begins to increase its frequency as the lower density is moved out of the form and or is integrated into the higher light. Assimilation and acclimation occur naturally. I'm going to read that again and take it really slow. Acclimation and assimilation occur naturally. The physical body is designed to evolve. You're designed to evolve. You can resist it all you want, but you're designed to do it. So either you're going to do it unconsciously, or you're going to do it in non-belief that you're doing it, or you're going to do it resisting, or you're just going to do it naturally. And that's called the flow. That's natural flow. Your physical body knows how to fit the light within its form into the next highest dimensional field. However, Evolution requires the physical form and the higher dimensional consciousness within the form to work together. So we were meant to work with our higher beings. Doesn't mean we have to, just we were meant to. You can do anything you want because you got free will, right? The physical form will hold higher frequencies of light, but the higher dimensional consciousness within the form, take the comma, the earth, take the comma, and the human must consciously participate in the evolution. So guess what? We're participating with earth consciousness, her form body called earth or planet earth or earth plane, and us, we were meant to shift together. Wholeness. Right? Then it says they must choose to experience and tap into the next highest frequency and dimensional field. They also must feel and experience the denser lower frequencies or frequency light moving out of the body or merging into the higher light. The physical form acclimates to and assimilates the higher frequencies, but the higher dimensional consciousnesses must choose to feel and experience the energy shift. So your higher being must choose, your body and your mind must choose. You're triune. You're always making choices and growing and expanding. We were meant to shift. We'll come back and we'll talk about the third one after we read more. Welcome in. Welcome, Delphi Priestess. I can't use my glasses while I'm up close to the to the computer. So then the questioner asks, could you tell me how much each of the rays, red through violet, would appear in a perfectly balanced and undistorted energy or entity? All right. Ra says, I am Ra. We cannot tell you this, for each balance is perfect and each unique. We do not mean to be obscure. Let us offer an example. In a particular entity, let us use an example of wanderer. The rays may be viewed as extremely even: red, orange, yellow. The green ray is extremely bright. This is how we would say balanced by a dimmer indigo. Between these two, the point of balance resides. The blue ray of the communicator sparkling in strength above the ordinary. In the violet ray, we see the unique spectrograph, if you will, and at the same time, the pure violet surrounding the whole. This is in turn surrounded by that which mixes the red and violet ray, indicating the integration of mind, body, and spirit. This surrounded in turn by the vibratory patterns of this entity's true density. We are talking once again about the different rays, right? Do you wish me to read this again, Marcus?
No, you don't have to. You can keep going.
Keep going. Okay. Okay, so Ross says this description may be seen in both unbalanced and in perfect balance. The latter understanding is extremely helpful in dealing with other selves. The ability to feel blockages is useful only to the healer. There is not there is not properly a tiny fraction of judgment when viewing the balance of colors. Of course, when we see many of the energy plexi weakened and blocked, we may understand that an entity has not yet grasped the baton and begun the race. Oh, the baton. Ooh, the baton. Okay, that was a good one. The baton and began the race. However, the potentials are always there. All the rays, fully balanced, are there in waiting to be activated. So pretty much when we're born in our chakras are born balanced. Our rays our rays are born activated and balanced over a period of years and choices and living. They can become unbalanced. That is not a negative for anyone. When somebody tells you that you're imbalanced in your root chakra, it's not a bad thing. It means you get to open up yourself and go and evolve, to go seek that which you need to change, to grow, to expand, to come in alignment. That's all that means. Then Ross says, perhaps another way to address your query is that in the fully potential entity, the ray mount one upon the other with equal vibratory balance and succinctly sheen until the surrounding colors are white. Everything in balance. Everything vibrating and touching each other, everything coming in alignment until you reach the beyond the crown chakra, and you're home. You're in communication continually with every aligned chakra that says home, vibrationally, spiritually home, the divine. And guess what? You don't have to die to do that. You don't have to have a physical death to spiritually be in consciousness in other levels. And you don't have to fear yourself being out of alignment, because being in alignment helps you, becoming in alignment helps you grow, expand, shift, evolve. You came in with perfect balance, yes. That came in through your higher being, and then your higher being coming into a denser vibrational field kind of went to sleep just for a little bit. Had a little amnesia. Was veiled just a little bit. But guess what? It wasn't meant to be veiled forever. But at the same time, you're not required to listen to your higher being. Ooh, what, Sandee? You're not. If you came into this third density, maybe you just came in to live life. Go with the flow. Your energy quotient was to give energy to the earth consciousness, her body, and all of humanity to shift. Maybe. The first light workers that came in between the 1940s and the 1960s, my era, you call those the baby boomers, we were supposed to just live life. We didn't ever have to have an awakening. We were just supposed to live life, and our higher light quotient was going to give energy to earth consciousness and humanity to shift. But here's the thing is, the divine gave you the option, the creative option button, and you get to push it. Right? When I read the divine design, and they started telling me about light workers, and light workers, higher beings coming in being light workers, because earth consciousness, the divine expression of the creator that is and is not, had to put a call out, because the only thing that any entity could not do to earth consciousness was destroy her body. Otherwise, earth's consciousness said everything has to play out as it is. Free will has to play out, growth and expansion has to play out, shifting has to play out, and evolution has to play out. But earth consciousness made an agreement with the divine that her body could not be destroyed. And that's the only time that the divine could intercede and make a call. Whoa. So every time, make that call. So every time you think about the earth being destroyed by mankind or the government or whatnot, that's a fear that you don't need to have. You can. The divine says you can have that fear because that's your choice. Divine says you fear that. The divine says your wish is my command. I'll just go ahead and open another door that you can step in and hear more about other people thinking that earth consciousness her body can be destroyed. Whoa. I was blown away. Back to you, Marcus. Welcome back, Marcus. Whew. I think he froze just a little bit. He'll be back. Let's keep reading then.
There we go.
All right, he's back. Back to you. You want to add a little something?
Yeah, it's so interesting when you can start to see things as different perspective lenses that you can choose of your own free will to be able to alter the lens that you look through. And wow, like how fascinating. What a gift that is. Like, think about how much we hold on to a perspective in our human life. But then think about the fact that we can let go of that perspective and freely and no right or wrong experience a whole entire different perspective. And it's like absolutely 100% okay to do that. And the only thing that's holding us back from doing that is just our own self. Like, wow, that's so fascinating, you know? Like, as much as I want to see things only as what Marcus would like or what Marcus would want to see, I can choose not to and choose to see from Sandee's view. I can choose to see from Kaya's view. Or I can choose to see from, you know, what my mother would view or see. It's really fascinating. And the more I embrace that, the more I'm able to let go of limitation, let go of, you know, attachment to expectation, attachment to outcomes. But knowing that there's a infinite amount of possibilities, and there's also room for divine magic, miracles to take place, as long as I allow myself to stay in that quantum mindset where things are not linear, that things can quantumly happen in an energetic moment. It's really fascinating. And it's a really beautiful time that we're in. Really beautiful time. And I was talking with, honestly, I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody about, oh, okay, it was my buddy Alex. So I was with my friend Alex this rising. And we were just having some conscious conversation, as we usually do, talking about society and life and just the universe and everything. And we were talking about, like, where can we start to change in our tangible, everyday human lives? And I'm talking like 9 to 5 jobs, families, children, school, all these different things going on. Like, where can we start to take steps in the solutions and the change that we would like to see in this world with all of these responsibilities and all of these things that, pile up and create excuses for us? Well, I just thought about it, like, it could be a simple step of starting to redirect your focus, redirecting your focus to your family. As in, if you live with a family, sit down with each other and have like a family meeting and just start asking each other, like, what what are some of your passions that you would like to put more time into or more energy into? Or what are some goals as a family or as a couple, as partners, that we would like to start, embarking upon, or that we would like to start putting effort into? What is it that we want to do between us? Not like at our job or what our boss wants to do or what the government wants us to do. What is it that we want to do in this household right here, right now, with nobody else to tell us what to do? And it's up to us and what we do in this space. What do we want to do with it? Do we have any goals? Do we have any dreams? Do you have a dream that you want to manifest? How can we support each other with it as a family? Maybe my finances could help fund towards your dream and towards your investment. And then your investment can help bring in more money and more opportunities for the family. Thinking about these type of things, these are very, very tangible steps that anybody can take at home. That does not require any of the excuses that we hear when it comes to the outside world, our jobs, and all these things. How are your discussions at home? Are we even utilizing the times we have discussions consciously? Or is that time being fed with distractions or Netflix all the time or, things like that? So just think about that. Like, what are the discussions that you're having at home with your families? Are you using that time when you have discussions or when you can have discussions to be productive, to build a community within your own family and start supporting each other like a community, but within your own family home? And then you can create this dynamic within your home, and then you can multiply that. You can share that with your friends, share that with their families. This is stuff that we've been doing at home to start building towards our goals, our dreams, being the change that we want to see in the world. Like, start talking about building a garden together as a family, wanting to all learn together, even the children. Things like that. I feel like there's just not enough family discussions going on about how we can consciously grow and how we can consciously be constructive with what we have at our hands. And just a very timely reminder, you know. It's not a expectation or me saying that you guys should be or shouldn't be. Just a timely reminder out of love that this is a simple step that we can take. Redirecting our focus and asking each other questions and seeing how we can do things together within the spaces that we have and the resources that we have. And then, man, if we keep on thinking like that and then multiply that, next thing you know, we got neighbors, you know, collaborating with each other with the resources that they have while also sustaining their own individual spaces. And then we just continue to grow as a community from this type of intention. And there's nothing that is needed outside of that, so to say. You know, there is no higher organization, there's no higher corporation, there's no higher force that needs to be implied when we act in this type of manner, when we embody this type of frequency. Because then we're just sovereign. We're showing that we're capable to the universe. We're like, look, universe, we know what we need to do. We're going to act upon it. We don't need a governing body. We don't need someone to be breathing down our neck, giving us all these regulations, because we can regulate ourselves. And I'm going to start with regulating my own individual avatar. And then I'm going to show my family how they can regulate their own avatars, and we'll regulate each other together. And then we'll show our people at work. And then we'll share with our communities these things. And then we'll all be able to self-regulate. And then we'll know how to regulate with each other. And then we'll show the forces that be and the global elites how to regulate. Next thing you know, they're going to be regulating with us. That's what it's all about. Back to you.
I love it. That's what it's all about. I love it. That's what it's all about. Really, that's a shifting. It's taking your it's not nobody ever stole your power. You gave it away. But you can do two things. Either you can take it back, but energy always comes back to you with something attached to it. So if you are not willing to do the work and you call back your energy, you're going to get whatever you get that's attached to it. But if you want to say energy, you can stay there. I put all that energy into, you know, my complaints about the policies and the political system and in that political arena. I'm not calling anything back from there. I'm going to allow the energy, the never-ending energy well. I'm going to allow that to come up, and I'm going to create from that, because energy is saying, okay, what do you want to create now? Its job is just to seek itself and multiply. And it seeks it from you. So what do you want to do? Just like Marcus said, show those energies what you really want. Vibrate that way. Instead of thinking that they can control and manipulate you living a glorious, waking up and having a glorious Monday is giving them all that power to make you unavailable to do and create your life moment. I'm not saying the political thing. I'm using them as an example, and I'm not putting names to it. You call out whatever you want to call out. That's okay. For me, I don't spend a lot of time looking at that. When I do see it, I look to the energy to create something different. I want them to see. I would want, if what's working for me and my highest greatest good is working, then I want to share it with other people, and that includes political and religious and Netflix and everything. Why? Because I want to live my life. I can't live it according to Marcus. I can't live it according to Joe Blow, but I can live it according to me and how it vibrates in me, how I become more aligned with my auras or my vibrations, and how I become more aligned with what I want to do, how I want to create me. That's all Ra is saying. Ra is saying, we've given you all the tools. You can't make us responsible for how you use them. So when we first started this about the chakras and the colors, when the questioner asked that question, they went back to the first book and said, I know we've dealt with this before, but Maldak, the entities of Maldak, they went the destructive route with nuclear weapons. Now they're getting a chance to do it again here in a human avatar. And is this a lesson of the divine that the divine wants us to learn? And Ross said, that's not on us. That's how you chose to use the energy. That's how you chose to use the energy. And the divine just gave me this. It's a balance of control. Why the major players all have nuclear weapons is because they're controlling. It's not they're controlling each other. They're controlling downward. Us. Through fear. They're not controlling each other and keeping each other at bay because they are the mirror of other selves. They are on the playground saying, we came to play together and our game is control. So it's not about them controlling each other. It's about the other players that are playing on the playground. You, me, everybody else that is in that vibration of fear. The only way you can change that is to leave the playground. How do you leave the playground? You change how fear feels to you, how fear speaks to you, because there's a movement of fear. You move up from fear to being scared, up from being scared to being a little agitated or annoyed by certain things. And then you move up into confidence that this the fear is only an object and the object was meant to surrender back to the divine. And that's in every area of your life, not just the political aspects. That's in your work. Just because one person decided that they love working the farm and having their own thing and having their own business does not mean that you can't be an employee and work for a company, that you can't be happy that your currency comes in every other Friday. You don't want to grow and expand the company. You have to decide who you are and how you're going to express. That's sovereign. Who you are and how you're going to express. And then the embodiment of the sovereign is sharing that with your other selves called mommy, daddy, sister, brother, best friend, work colleague, on down the line, your other selves. And if they want to take in the information of how you're enjoying your sovereignty and your growth, think you can put the seed in their hand and say, here, little one, take it. If you want more, plan it. And then if you have a question, come to me. I'll share how I did it with you. That's all Ra is saying. Ra just said, the entities of Maldak, yes, they had the opportunity to come back and have a human incarnation. And they get to decide what they wanted to learn, what they wanted to experience. If they wanted to even do nuclear weapons again, they got to decide that. That was an infinite thought on the free flowing through consciousness being an active growth process. They got to choose it and take it on. Here on Earth consciousness, even if they choose it and use it, they won't get very far because Earth consciousness can make another call to the divine saying, they're about to do it again, or do something similar. Help me out. Right? But what Ra says is you get to choose. Your choices don't stop just because you learned it in one lifetime ago, or 10 lifetimes ago, or a billion lifetimes ago. You get to make a choice again. Back to you, Marcus. Whew. I love Ra.
Back to me. Would it be?
Would it be?
So I got something to show us.
Would it be? I knew it. Show me.
And it's pretty cool, actually. It's really fun to watch, that's for sure. It kind of has to do with what you were speaking on earlier. And what you were speaking on earlier was, the divine made sure that there's a lot of parameters covered to make sure that Earth can't be destroyed due to history and galactic timelines of other planets being destroyed. And I want to show a video of this. This video is from Ancient Aliens, and it's about extraterrestrials and their ships deactivating nuclear bombs while the nuclear bombs were being activated. This has happened a couple of times throughout history on this planet. During the Cold War and another time, there was a nuclear missile that was launched, and a Pleiadian spaceship or galactic ship came in and defused the bomb midair, and it was caught on camera. So I want to share this Ancient Aliens clip for you guys so you can check it out.
Japan, setting fires and killing thousands of people. Easy at times. Waves is devastating consequences. Particularly the Fukushima generating phase and release radioactive material into the atmosphere and into the water. With the nuclear power plant's reactors melting down and radiation, the authorities evacuate the region. The only people who remain are employees who struggle for days to prevent a larger catastrophe from occurring. But according to eyewitnesses on the scene, these workers were not alone.
There were UFO sightings reported in some significant numbers in that area in the weeks and the days leading up to the earthquake and tsunami. And there were a number of UFO sightings that extraterrestrials were involved in stabilizing that situation. Because had that Fukushima plant melted down, it would have made a large swath of Asia uninhabitable for a very long time. Could be present at the Fukushima, and might they have helped to prevent it from being an even more catastrophic disaster?
A number of witnesses reported that there were UFOs hovering around the power station, and that even beams of light were coming down from these UFOs and doing.
So there's that one, and then there's actually one more that I'm going to show. And this one is regarding the one during the Cold War.
Several former U.S. Air Force officers have shared that almost 70 years ago, they witnessed multiple unidentified aerial phenomenon sightings over 2 U.S. nuclear bases. Shockingly, the men also claimed that these 1964 aerial sightings occurred nearly simultaneously with the spontaneous immobilizing of the base's nuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles, suggesting that whatever or whoever was up there successfully disabled the ICBMs from above.
Friend of the show, Emily Jashinsky, attended a Tuesday press conference held at the National Press Club in Washington, where a panel of former USAF officers detailed those incidents and others like them. According to Emily's reporting, the group called for congressional investigations into the sightings and said they felt they had been ignored previously. One former officer told the debrief at the event, quote, "Now the question is, will the government tell us the truth about what they've known now for decades?" So look, obviously I tend to be more skeptical, I think, than anyone else involved in producing the show for our viewers, that aliens are real and doing things. I do think they're China, Russia, other governments with technologies or that have been a little ahead of ours that we've been different, not understood. That is a reality. I don't know about the aliens, but what do you think? Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, this has been reported on for a long time, over a decade. There are these many other people, Robert Hastings, Dr. Stephen Greer, they have been bringing up the sightings and witnesses to these sightings, and the fact that there have been numerous accounts from some of our top military officials, people that we've trusted with nukes. I mean, if we trust them with nukes, they're clearly not crazy people, and they've been testifying, saying that, look, something is blowing up nukes out when we send them out into space. They're getting blown up. Essentially, they're being disabled. Our nuclear facilities are being disabled, and this is something that has been reported by not only the United States but other nuclear countries as well. And their thinking is that there is something out there that is an alien, not of this world life form, that is monitoring it. They say that the monitoring of the nukes and the disabling of the nukes happened since the U.S. dropped the nukes, 2 of them on Japan. And the theory is that event resonated out in the universe, and the more intelligent life form says, "What the heck are those humans doing?" And they came down, and they were monitoring us, and they said, "Okay, you guys are dangerous because whatever it is you're doing is dangerous for the universe, not just for your space in the world or in the universe." And they started to monitor and start to disable. And since then, whenever we've put nukes out there, out into space, things have happened. Nuclear sites are being disabled. And so this is something that some of the military officials are kind of trying to say, well, see, this is a national security problem, that there's somebody out there trying to mess with our nuclear arsenal. It seems to me that if there is out there, which I am one that believes that there is, of course, life forms out there in the world, I think there's no way we're alone. If they are out there and they are disabling our nukes, they're not doing it because they're a threat to us. They're doing it because we're a threat to ourselves, and maybe we're a threat to some aspects of the universe.
Ryan, do you think we've angered the Galactic Federation and their
Well, I mean, I do think that the chance that we're the only planet that has ever created life forms is vanishingly small. Like, well, like just the math on that, given this expansive size of the universe, it seems hard to get your head around. I do think hearings on this would be a way to build back some trust.
Yeah,
hold open hearings.
No argument. Absolutely have hearings. We know that our government, our security officials, they know things that they don't share with us. They should share them with us. Absolutely. Yeah,
but no.
But apparently, what they're sharing now is that they've known about this. That is documented. It's in our government, and now they're admitting it into the public. And these people, these high-level military officials have been smeared as quacks for years. Like I said, we've trusted them with nuclear arsenal, and as soon as they open their mouths and say, "Hey, by the way, something weird happened," and there's many of them who've said this, suddenly they're smeared as wackadoos that people shouldn't be taking seriously. And that now they are finally being heard. Now they're finally being taken somewhat seriously because these reports are coming out.
Maybe the aliens told me to dismiss your concerns to keep you in the dark.
Maybe you're an alien.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, well, that's more likely. Going Robbie.
We do.
Wow.
Yes. Wow.
How awesome
This
is that?
Wow, right? We know it, but we kind of talk ourselves out of it as human beings because we want to believe that we're the only ones in the world, in the universe. you know, and I love the way the guy said it. I know you'd like to believe that we're the only ones that can create in all of the universe, but hey, that's just, you know, go ahead and believe that if you want, right? So this is in chapter 13 of the Divine Design. It talks about the unique role of the second call of light workers, right? It says the entity that was channeling through Lori Ladd said, we knew that all light workers during this second call would and could hold blueprints that would actively activate early in their life, allowing them their mission to have the highest impact. The light workers in the second call were unique. They had the potential to be higher states of consciousness from the moment they incarnated into the human form. Many were able to hold 5D consciousness through their entire human journey. They would align and connect their higher selves, the I am presence, and guides early on in their human journey. Many of these light workers would actively and consciously work with higher dimensional beings to fulfill their blueprint. Their work may be powerfully impacted on Earth and humanity in a very short period of time. They incarnated knowing who they were and that they were a human in physical form, connected to their blueprint and held a higher state of consciousness. They were very powerful light workers, and to this day are well known by many as what you might call ascended masters. Okay. And the divine is telling me it's not just ascended masters on Earth. It's what we call aliens and their spaceships and whatnot. Their spaceships are vibrational homes. We see them through our physical lenses as if they are vessels, as if they are cars, as if they are our spaceships, as if they are caravans. We see it that way through our human perspective. But that's the way that their vibratory energy is shown to us. They answered the call. It doesn't matter what our labels are that we call them, aliens or higher beings or predator or what we call them. They have answered the call of the divine. Talk about a vibrational story. They came here to do what they came to do. The chakras that we have, they do what they're meant to do. They're not here to bargain with us. They're not here. We can maneuver through all the gray area we want. We can be unconscious to everything that's going on. The divine will say absolutely yes to that. Let it be so. And when Ra speaks to us, Ra, that collective density that they call themselves, speaks in honoring our choice to have free will and grow and expand. That's why when a question is asked, Ra will say, I can't go beyond the free will of the reader that might be reading this. Would you like to rephrase your question? Many times the questioner will say, can you tell me a question that I missed? And Ra says, no, I can't give you the question. Matter of fact, I can't really give you an answer. I can give you an explanation, but guess what? You get to discern it and decide if that's for your highest and greatest good. And these higher beings that came, they came to play in the playground. They may not ever come on to earth consciousness physically, but they came to allow to make sure they are the office monitors for earth consciousness. So there are many, many other entities that are going through their school, whatever their vibrational planet is called. They're going through the same thing we're going through, and they're divinely protected from us as we're divinely protected from them. Yes, we've had interaction with entities along through between the 1940s and the early 70s, coming through the fourth density into third density and playing scientists and doing and running tests on us. But that was because that was free will, and they answered the call to play on our playground as consciousnesses. But when they started to lower Earth consciousness's quotient and hinder her from shifting and evolving, and also threatened her form body, they were exited and escorted off of third density back into 4D. They were escorted. Earth consciousness put out the call. The second time she put out the call, the divine said, I got you, baby, and put out a call to all light workers in all realms, in every aspect of the divine, and they all answered with no malice or intent of destruction. But they came and they started doing what they needed to do to move what we consider aliens and alien technology off of third density, and then not allow them to come back in. The only time that they can come back in is when you give them permission when you dream, because that's a whole different realm. They can come back in that way. When you give them permission to be part of you through whatever it is, fear or a knowledge of them, you give them permission. Otherwise, they can't enter into this vibrational field any longer. That's why most of them stay in a vibratory quantum field outside of Earth consciousness and do what they need to do to help us. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If I've blown, burst some of your bubbles about aliens and you're upset, I ask forgiveness, but I will not change the knowledge of how I understand it. Right? So the questioner says, is it possible for a third density planet to form a social memory complex which operates in third density? Ra says, I am Ra. It is possible only in the latter or seventh portion of such a density when entities are harmoniously ready for the graduation. You're in total alignment. Then you get to graduate. And the questioner is asking about a sixth density complex entity. And remember, Ra is a sixth density complex entity where the planet merged and became wholeness. Right? So Ross says it's possible. Then the questioner says, could you give me an example of a planet of this nature, both a third density service to others type and a third density service to self type at this level of attainment? Ross said, as far as we are aware, there are no negatively oriented third density social memory complexes. So there are no planets that merged negatively as social memory complex. Positively oriented social memory complexes of the third density are not unheard of, but quite rare. However, an entity from the star Sirius planetary body has approached the planetary body twice. This entity is in a late third density and is part of a third density social memory complex. This has been referred to in the previous material. The social memory complex is properly a fourth density phenomenon. Wow. Shall I hold on, let me see. I'm going to finish this last question from the questioner. The questioner says, I was also wondering, since action of a bellicose nature is impossible, and that's a negatively dense entity or vibration, is possible as far as I understand vegetation, would they not have the advantage as they move into third density from second to not carry a racial memory of a bellicose nature and therefore develop a more harmonious society or accelerate their evolution in this nature? Ross says, this is correct. However, to become balanced and begin to polarize properly, it is then necessary to investigate movements of all kinds, especially bellicosity. That's especially the negative, that an entity or consciousness that is polarized in negativity, in order for it to become a sixth density complex being or consciousness, it has to not stay in the negative. It has to balance itself with the positive polarity as well. Because in order to merge back with the divine, it has to be and merge back with the divine means seventh density. It has to it has to free flow in its heart chakra, in its green ray. It has to free flow or align from the three chakras below and the three chakras above. It can learn all about negativity, but when it merges back with the one true creator, it must embrace the law of one, or as aka the law of love. Woo. Woo. Back to you, Marcus. We're at an hour and 30 minutes, man. The divine has got a lot going on here.
I want to give some words of encouragement for everybody out there. And just want to give the reminder that in this moment, you have a choice. That choice is of infinite possibilities of what you would want to choose. But what matters is that it's completely up to you. on what you want to choose for your life and to be the next step of your life. And literally, right now, in this moment, you have the power to make a choice. Whatever that choice may be, you have the power to make a choice. And that choice can alter your thought process. It can alter your focus. It can alter where your being and your energy moves. It can alter your mood. It can alter what it is that you're going to do next. And with that being said, the only limitation or the only thing that is preventing or putting a box on that choice for you is just your own self within. And it's completely up to you in this moment and the choices that you make from this moment on the life that you want to start living. You can either continue to do what you've been doing, rinse and repeat, or in this moment you can say, you know what, I've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to embark upon this passion. I've been wanting to see if I can start serving the collective with my gifts. I've been wanting to start, reaching out and getting myself out there with my services or with my art or my music. And I've just kind of been hesitating. I've been trying to, tell myself there'll always be tomorrow, or, that I don't have time, things of that nature. And, we have the choice. We have the choice to think of solutions, to think of what we can do next in order to support whatever it is that we love or that we have passion for. And you also have a choice to let go of and to, release the things that may be disrupting that for you, the things that may be causing chaos, the things that could be causing a lot of frustration and taking up a lot of your energy and time, but ultimately aren't necessary for you anymore. And remember that power as well. That power with change and choices is you don't have to continue to stay in something that you feel miserable in, something that is causing stress, something that is depriving you. So I just want to give those gentle human reminders to help us in case if we are feeling limited or we're feeling like we may be suffocated by life. But just know that it starts within the mind. You can always shift your focus. That's something that can really not be taken from you, is where you're mentally focusing your energy. So keep that in mind. And from there, your emotions are then shifted from the mind. And then through the emotions, it then shifts the physical. Multidimensionality. That is who we are.
That's who we are. That is who we are. And I'm going to leave you with this. This is the Masters in New Energy. It's Adamus Saint Germain, another channeling book. It's called, the chapter that I'm reading up from is called Old Masters and New Masters. And I'm just going to read about what they say or what they are sharing about the new energy master understands. Guess what? That's you. The new energy master understands that mastery is about being human. You are, like I've always said, you are triune. You might want to call it higher being, you might want to call it soul or spirit, but your energy, formless, and your form body and your mind. That's the new energy master. And you understand that it's okay to be human. They understand that it is about integrating all energies into themselves. That the new energy master understands the principle of joy and releasing the old concepts of suffering. Though the divine says, if you want to suffer, let it be so. That's your choice. Always a choice. If you want to be a victim, always a choice. Let it be so. Then they say many of the masters in the past were isolated. They went off alone, away from cities and away from families. They lived as hermits in the woods, on a desolate island, or in a forsaken part of the country where no other humans lived, perhaps justifying it by saying that they were getting back in touch with nature. The masters of old had to leave the presence of other humans in order to truly discover themselves. However, the new energy master understands that it is essential to be a part of humanity, to be a part of community. The new energy master understands that isolation and separation do not serve the needs of the other selves, the ones who are ready to teach. So the new energy masters learn to be the masters while existing in the human reality, surrounded by other humans, while working in everyday jobs, while traveling, while going to the same stores or perhaps even the same church as other human beings. There will be times that you need to be alone. There will be times that you need to recharge your energy. But new energy masters understand it is important to live among humans. It is important to participate in human existence, for how can they teach if you are on some remote island? How can you teach? How can you teach if you are isolating yourself from some distant place? How can you be available to humanity if you are sitting on some mountaintop, secluding and difficult to get to? Be the new energy master. Live in, if you need to, live in all realms. Now remember, the only realm that you can create from is this now realm. Any other realms that you're visiting, it's only for you to look and take on wisdom and understanding. You can't change that realm. That is your other selves, but that other realm has free will as well. That other self that is you has free will. It doesn't get to the other self that is you, doesn't get to come into your now and change your now. It can look at and take information back to its realm for its highest and greatest good. And then when all other selves of you merge back with the divine says all is good. Let's put it into the book into the library of the book of life. The book of life called Sandra or Marcus or give your name. You are the new energy master. Why? Because everything has to change. Everything grows. Everything expands. Everything does not have to stay the same. If you want it to, the divine will say, let it be so, if you want it to. And remember, that's an intention plus energy that you created. So if you never want to change, that's what you're creating it. And you can certainly blame it on someone else. But what happens is the universe doesn't hear you blaming it on someone else. It hears you speak and then gives it back to you. Yes, that's what karma is called in 3D. And in 3D, karma can be a bitch. So go be a new energy creator. You can't be any better than anyone else unless you're trying to be better than yourself. As Marcus says, know thyself. thank you for joining us. I hope you will join us on Sunday at 3:33 Pacific Standard and 6:33 Eastern Standard, and keep doing a deep dive into the unknown that's called you. Thank you so much for being present. One love. Back to you, Marcus.
Well, as we wrap up, I wanted to close out with a little bit of inspiration for all of you, as I had a very profound and beautiful moment happen on the 5th, which is also my dad's Earth Day. And I shed a little bit of tears, you know. It was very, very, very surreal for me to process for a moment, and it still is kind of. But I was featured in my first ever magazine, and I was featured in a Ohio magazine called Voyage Ohio, and it's a pretty active magazine. As you guys can see, they have a lot of different stuff going on, a lot of different topics and headlines, very productive and helpful things for the communities to read. And they went ahead and put me under a local story and put it under Rising Stars in Ohio. And you can read about my story, my life path, my trials and tribulations that kind of got me to who I am now and why I do what I do and my intentions. And yeah, it goes into my struggles with addiction, me going to prison, talks about me going through my beginning stages of spiritual awakening and holistic practices and shamanism. And then I also talk about from addiction to substances to, addiction to porn in this world as a masculine person, and going through a lot of different programming surrounding, sexualization and things of that nature, partying, going to festivals, a lot of stuff about me, the actual being in depth of who I am. So for anybody out there that would like to check out, you can always reach out and I can send you, or you just go to voyageohio.com, and then I'm sure you could probably also type in like Marcus Christolight or something and it'll come up on Google. But yeah, just reach out. I'll send it out to you guys if you want to read about me and check out a little bit about my trials and tribulations on who I am in this journey and what's brought me to being here now with you guys. But yeah, I just want to share that moment because, for me, I'm a prime example of, that you can, within your own hands and with your own power and determination, change yourself to become a better version of you that you want to be. And I'm someone that was dealing with a lot of addiction when it came to substances, and I was selling a lot, living in the streets, had no order, no discipline, getting high all the time, getting drunk a lot, things of that nature. And here I am today, sitting here live with you guys, doing what I do, basically completely sober. I do smoke a little bit of cannabis every now and then, but that's all I ever do. I don't drink, and I don't do anything else anymore. And thanks to these practices, thanks to this knowledge of self, and actually integrating and using these practices daily, and, if not daily in the times that I could, it's really helped me shed those attachments, heal those parts of myself, and be able to be in this light and power for all of you. So I just wanted to share that, anything's possible. I was in prison 7 years ago, and, at one point wanted nothing more, or thought I reached the peak of life back when I was selling and getting high all the time. You know, I thought that was the way to live forever, the way to live my whole life. And there's beautiful things out there for you. Just look at my story. Look at what I've been through. That's where I'll leave off for you guys. A little bit of inspiration. Love you guys.
And we say,
thank you all for supporting.
And we say thank you, Christolight, for advancing, but not just advancing, for shifting. Thank you, Marcus, for your wisdom and your understanding. Thank you for evolving, right? Evolving. Thank him. Give him kudos. Tell him, Marcus, do this, because that's energy. Energy said, Marcus, what do you want to do? And Marcus says, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, and let me move a little bit more. And energy said, blam, 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 right? They have been feeding us the story of Aladdin. Oh, I'm excited. I can't even say it right. Aladdin and the magic genie and the lamp. And when the magic genie comes out all grand and grandioso and says, your wish is my command. And Aladdin gets excited. And he gets ready to start doing wishes. And the genie says, oh, but wait. Let me give you a little quick pro. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't have this. You can't say that. You can only have 3 wishes, but there's only a few ways that you can say that. The divine says infinite possibilities, and doesn't come out grandioso to do it. It just says, I'm just going to give it to you, baby. I'm going to give it to you. I packed it in your backpacks. It's all inside of you. And all you got to do to activate it is have intention plus the energy that you were born with, and blam. We say congratulations, Marcus. And we give thanks to the divine for taking care of our soul brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody be blessed. Thank you for joining us. One love, peace, love one, and raw spoke. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wholeness and balanced love. See you guys on Sunday.